When you want to communicate an idea, how do you express yourself? Are you more eloquent when you speak? Or maybe you're more comfortable putting your thoughts into writing. Many people find that they're better at one form of communication than the other, and that's perfectly okay. The problem arises when people feel like they can't convey their ideas the way they want to because they aren't good at speaking or writing. Many people suffer from speaking anxiety. They either have a fear of public speaking in social or professional settings, or they just can't seem to articulate their thoughts the way they want to. Others feel the same way about writing. Since it is less natural than speech, many people have a hard time communicating their ideas onto paper. Even the best writers in the world suffer from writer's block. Luckily, speech and writing aren't as different as they seem, so knowing what you're good at can really help you in all areas. Typically, people think of speaking and writing as two opposite forms of communication. When people think of writing, they immediately think of strict grammar rules, proper English, and complex sentences that can be difficult to read and write. On the other hand, speaking seems to be more casual and forgiving. If you make a mistake when you speak, few people will correct you as long as your meaning comes across. Many people are more comfortable with speech for this reason. But this opposing relationship isn't really the best way to look at it. Think of communication as a spectrum. On one end, instead of speaking, you have extremely casual interactions. And on the other end, instead of writing, you have extremely formal interactions. Now, it's easy to see that speaking and writing can belong anywhere along the line. Writing, such as text to your friends and free writing exercises in class, can be messy, rambling, and full of mistakes, just like casual speech. At the same time, speaking can be precise, scripted, and almost painfully correct, just like some forms of academic writing. Both modes of communication can be extremely fluid or extremely stale. It's really just a matter of what task you're addressing and what your audience expects. So how does any of this help you improve your speaking and writing skills? That's where we turn to science. Let's take a look at what happens in your brain when you're thinking of what you want to say. The thoughts and ideas are in your head, and only you know exactly what they mean. The hard part is communicating them to others in a way that best represents your true ideas. When you go to express your thoughts to others, either through speech or writing, the mental process of preparing your thoughts is exactly the same, up until you either open your mouth or put pen to paper. In other words, forming a thought to communicate happens exactly the same way whether you are speaking or writing. It only changes when you choose a method to deliver it. This means that if what you say out loud more closely represents the true ideas in your head, you can speak them first to help you figure out how to write them. The same goes for writing. You can organize your thoughts on paper before you start to speak them. Furthermore, your brain remembers the structures of all the past sentences you've created and likes to reuse them. So, if you've said or written something eloquent once, you've already got the tools to do it again. And because the thought process behind speaking and writing are the same, anything you can speak, you can write, and anything you can write, you can speak. The ideas are transferable, and they only grow and get better with practice. This brings us back to our first question. When you want to communicate an idea, how do you express yourself? Think about what you are comfortable with. Where are your strengths? Once you start to pay attention to your own abilities, you can become more confident in your capacity to speak or write what's on your mind. Take advantage of your class discussions and writing assignments. Use them to pick out your strengths and weaknesses, and then transfer the skills from whichever area you find most comfortable. Jot down your comments before contributing to a class discussion if you need to. Record yourself explaining an idea to a friend before you try to write it if that's your strong suit. The point is, don't let yourself believe you can't be a great speaker or writer. Improving your skills will take a lot of hard work and dedication, but it's worth it in the end. Changing your mind about speaking and writing, and your own perception of your capabilities, is only the first step. Now, go start making the most out of your speaking and writing assignments your teachers give you in class, and remember, if you can speak it, you can write it, and if you can write it, you can speak it.